A man with a machete at an L.A. bus station refusing to put his weapon down, even taunting officers to shoot him. Retired LAPD police sergeant standing by to talk about this unbelievable body cam video up next. Tonight, we are on scene with the Los Angeles Police Department as officers try to get a man armed with a machete to surrender. Now, before we show you the body cam video, this is a 911 call from a transit official as the man sat on a parked bus.
I'm calling a report. We have an operator reporting that there is a man that has entered the bus and he's carrying a machete.
What's the location?
The location is Canoga and Sherman Way. It's on our orange line. He's not brandishing the weapon, but he is carrying a machete.
Okay, so he's not threatening anyone with it, right?
He's sitting in the back of the bus with a machete.
Pon el cuchillo abajo en el piso. Nada más ponlo en el piso. Come here.
Over here. Police found the man who claimed to be part of the gang MS-13 standing at a bus stop with a weapon in his hand. An officer started giving him instructions in Spanish, telling him to drop the machete.
Señor, pon el cuchillo en el piso. Nada más ponlo en el piso. Yo hablo español. ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Puedes poner el cuchillo en el piso? ¿Por qué? Yo quiero platicar de aquí. ¿Qué pasó? Mira, te voy a decir otra vez. Te voy a decir, si nos pegamos con lo que se llama el 40 mil, si te pega, te va a doler y te puede causar mucho dolor. Te lo estoy diciendo ahorita. Pero no te queremos pegar. Es baja el cuchillo.
The talks went on for more than 6 minutes, with the man even encouraging officers to shoot him. As he walked toward a busy road, officers used beanbag guns and rubber bullets to get him to drop the weapon.
Man, if you got a shot, take it, because otherwise, once he starts going...
Okay, beanbag ready! I'm gonna hit him.
Vamos, baja el cuchillo. Baja el machete, Diamond. Baja el machete, Diamond. Baja el machete, ponlo en el piso. Diamond. Baja el machete, Diamond.
There we go. Hold on.
The man was hit with beanbags and rubber bullets. He eventually dropped the machete and surrendered to police. He was treated for an injury to his right hand, was placed under a 72-hour mental health evaluation, but was not arrested. The incident remains under investigation. Joining me now is retired LAPD Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey. Sergeant, thanks for coming back on the show. Appreciate it. What I really liked about watching this was the use of non-lethal, right? We always sort of tend to show these sorts of things, and then something really bad happens, right? And in this case, something really bad didn't happen because they were using non-lethal.
So this is an example of officers had time on their side. There was distance between them and the suspect with the machete. Thankfully, the suspect never tried to close that distance. And so officers were able to deploy tactically, give commands, give him an opportunity, should he desire, to comply to those commands. And then when he didn't, use the less than lethal force rather than resorting to deadly force, which is what we're taught and trained to do. You use deadly force only as a last resort, and clearly these officers had other options.
The negotiator talked to the man for more than 6 minutes. Let me play some of that again.
Tell him we're here. We don't want to hurt him.
Mira, no te queremos hacer nada, pero haznos el favor y pon el cuchillo abajo.
To give him the warning, if he's going to get hit with a beanbag, it's going to cause serious injury.
Si no bajas el cuchillo abajo, te podemos dar con este, te podemos caer con este.
Again, one of the things that I appreciated watching this was the concern about the language barrier, right? That in a lot of instances, if someone doesn't speak English or doesn't speak English well, you don't always have an officer who can speak that language, but here you did, and I think that was critical in diffusing the situation.
Well, you know, one of the things that we were taught even when I went through the academy, back when dinosaurs roamed the earth, were a few sentences to disarm someone, or a command to be given in the event that you run into a Spanish speaker. And so while you may not be proficient in another language, Spanish, you certainly could utter a word or two to say, drop the knife, stop, don't move. And in this instance, they did not want to allow him to get around others, because you don't know what he's going to do possessing this machete. Sometimes, you know, we see people who are engaging what we refer to as suicide by cop. Mental illness is a problem and a concern, and we don't always have the benefit of trying to freeze frame and call a medical professional. Thankfully, these officers had less than lethal. There was a supervisor, a sergeant there on scene, who was managing this use of force that was about to happen, and it ended the way it should.
I've only got a minute left, but I know a lot of people are going to ask this question, which is, well, why don't they use a less than lethal more often then?
You use what's available. And obviously, they were able to have some officers respond quickly with less than lethal. If they didn't have that, they would have had to either tangle up with this guy, you don't want to do, he's got a machete, or use deadly force.
Yeah. Sergeant Dorsey, thank you. Appreciate it.